Hello, Internet. We are live with these weirdos and myself, who's even weirder. Gonna play some D&D, aren't we, guys? Eventually, maybe.
If we can figure it out.
Who knows?
If we can stop being so crap.
We haven't been online for an hour trying to start now.
No, of course not. Of course not. So I'm joined by Lux Luma. Say hi.
Hello.
Freed.
I'm French.
He is indeed. Yes, well done. Snap. And our DM, Autumn Space.
Hey.
And I am Fneb. So, Autumn, all yours.
Great. So we just really started out. Our characters are in Waterdeep on the Sword Coast. And since they are a bit of a ragtag bunch of people, everyone has gotten a little bit into trouble with the local guard. And they have been picked up under the command of a fighter called Omar Thune and have been brought into the Sea Ward of Waterdeep. Because he had some sort of quest for them. He wanted to bring them to a nobleman because he thought, well, since they're only getting into trouble in the town, they should be maybe sent out of the town for a quest and they'd be out of the way for a few weeks. And we now wanted to do around everyone just sharing about their characters, a bit of background information, maybe a description. Snap, why don't you start?
Okay, let me bring it up. Right,
You can hear us now.
I didn't write it down. Okay. So my character's name is Akano, he's an elven bard, and he is a storyteller, and he has a sort of fondness for history, the past, and sort of ancient stories and legends, and tries to keep telling the stories as truthfully as he can. But some of the nobles in Waterdeep don't like that he's actually telling the truth, and he's in trouble with the guards because of the way that he tells his story so honestly.
And now he got rounded up by the guards and will be thrown out of Waterdeep. Great, Lux, what do you have brought for us?
I'm gonna give you my entire background because I ain't got no secrets. Also, I just really don't know what to pick and choose. So, my character's name is Neroli. She is a Razor Claw shifter. She was born in the Eldine Reaches on the continent of Corvair, just because shifter is a race from another kind of country. She witnessed her tribe and her village get like almost completely slaughtered and wiped out by an inquisition that was launched by the Church of the Silver Flame. That was like, they wanted to essentially wipe out all lycanthropes, and shifters were kind of put under that umbrella because they're like descendants of that. So she was pretty much orphaned because of this and was completely alone, and she was eventually adopted by a moon speaker, which is kind of like almost priests, I could say, of the shifter race. Essentially what they do is go around from village to village, and they try to kind of enforce a sense of unity amongst shifters. Ooh. Because there's a lot of divide. So she was adopted by a traveling moon speaker and began training as an apprentice moon speaker, and that's where she began to learn the ways of the druid. Whilst they were visiting a small village, she was kind of tossed back into the horrors of her youth because a gang of humans that shared the hate of the Church of the Silver Flame invaded the village and slaughtered most of the shifters living there, including her master. Completely traumatized by this, she retreated like really, really deep into the wilderness, never staying in a place too long. And during this time of seclusion, she kind of honed her druid craft. And she eventually found herself in Faerun. Using the skills she had learned over the years, she began selling her services as a wilderness guide and tracker, but only when she really needed like materials or funds would she kind of go to society. So she eventually found herself in Waterdeep, kind of looking for that sort of work. And because of the general distrust of shifters, because they're so rare and kind of like never seen, she was immediately taken by the guard. Yeah, and shifty, exactly. She was immediately taken by the guard, and like they're like, "What are you doing here?"
All right, nice, great. Fried, what have you brought for us?
Well, a big part of my backstory will be kept secret, but what you can know is that I'm a frog king from the coming from the city of Akafla, which is south from Waterdeep near the Sea of Swords. I was a member of the Thieves Guild there, and for some reason I had to flee from the city and became an outcast for the members of the Thieves Guild. So I was chased by them, and I also have to look for something that's very dear to me and my family, and that thing might have led me to the city of Waterdeep.
And since you're basically a frog, people don't really trust you as well.
Yes,
This will be a problem. All right, Fneb, what did you create?
So my character is Kiatna Ziane. I'm a tiefling. I've got some nice little horns on my head. I'm playing a barbarian. I started off like in the area, like the northwest of Faerun. And like many tieflings, I ended up gravitating towards the city of Neverwinter, which is just a bit further up the coast, the Sword Coast from Waterdeep. While I was there, I kind of made a little bit of a name for myself as an assassin for hire, a criminal. And I'd pretty much just either decimate people with my glaive or sneak around and stab them with a little knife, a little dagger. However, while I was there, I basically killed someone who was a bit too well known, and had to kind of leave the city. I made my way a bit further down the coast to Waterdeep, and managed to run foul of the law while I was here, and that's how I've been caught up. Generally speaking, though, I tend to just be really angry, just angry with everyone.
Very friendly character.
Oh yeah, absolutely, super friendly, but may not be and may stab you.
But generally,
Good person to
pretty
have as a
angry.
friend. I like it.
Oh yeah, obviously.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Best
I mean,
friend.
Best
what do you
buds.
expect? I'm a barbarian. I mean, anger's my middle name, right? Pretty much.
I would like to rage. So you've been all gathered around by a few guards in front of a big building, 2 doors, like at least 10 feet high. And you're all just standing there for the last 2 or 3 minutes with no one in sight, no further movement, until both of these heavy wooden doors are pulled open from the inside, and some sort of gentleman steps out, very finely dressed in just a black robe, and he seems to be some sort of butler or something. Looks at you for a moment, raises his eyebrows because he doesn't understand that you are supposed to be the guys doing the job for his master. Bows shortly, and then, please come in, you're being awaited.
I walk in his direction, but I kind of like glower at him as I walk past. I very clearly do not want to be here,
Oh, all right, yeah.
and I feel like menacing this guy a bit.
Well, I just follow him quietly, slowly, trying to be at the back of the group, I'd say.
So
At the
as a
end,
frog,
at the end.
how do you even walk? Do you do always just this little hop behind
Please.
everyone? Or are you actually just walking on 2 legs like a normal human? Or how does it work?
The way I thought it is that I'm more like a humanoid, I would say, about the legs. They look, I would say, pretty normal. I mean, for the so my way of walking, I would say it's normal. Maybe
All right.
maybe I bend the knees a little more than normal people, but
So you have this cool swagger to your walk. Whoa. Yeah.
Frog
Okay.
yeah. with my dark cloak and leather hammer.
Frog swagger the thing now. All right, great. You're
Yeah.
being
Tell
led
her
through
when he
several.
walk, he's a woman's frog.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you well, Snap.
Yeah, you're really quiet now.
Like I have 200%.
Yeah,
of
I've
your
got him at
sound in
200%
Discord,
as
but
well.
I still
He's just
Well, he
rejoining.
just
Okay.
he disconnected.
Is it better?
No.
Not really. Can you move your mic a bit further up?
Okay. Or I mean, I could just. Is this
Yeah,
better?
it's better.
Yeah, that's better.
This is better now. Yeah. Okay.
great. You're being led through several arcing hallways. You're losing yourself a bit in this big manor. You're in the midst of the city. You're in the north of Waterdeep, and usually none of you really know this part of town since it's for the noblemen. And once you reach the main hall, it looks more like a banquet hall with a huge table in the middle, maybe able to seat 40 people. And at the head, the very back of the room at the table is a human sitting there. As you walk in, he stands up and he's pretty tall, like I'm about 6'5" tall. I have to convert in my head since you're all using this weird system now. Yeah, 2 English, 1 Canadian. No, Canada uses imperial or metric.
Metric.
I think we're probably all fine with
wow.
metric.
Metric, please.
Yeah, man.
He's so excited.
People in the
His face
chat may
lit
not be so
up.
happy, but you know.
Yeah, okay,
Well.
all right. He's like nearly 2 meters tall. He's long black robes, finely cut. He doesn't look like it because he doesn't wear a lot of jewelry or anything, but you can sense just that he's the nobleman and the ruler of this house. And his butler steps a few feet forward, but motions you to stay behind him.
I
And then
kind of just look
nearly-
around and growl a bit.
Well, if you look around like that,
Genuinely upset.
you see that 2 guards have stepped up behind you in the grand hall, and that another 2 guards are at the other side of the hall behind the nobleman.
I just, one of the guards behind me, I just kind of lock eyes with him and just stare at him.
And he's a bit
Full
he's a bit-
intimidation happening.
Yeah.
He's a bit irritated, looking to you, looking at his boss, looking to you, and he doesn't really know how to deal with that. And then through the hall, you hear this a bit of nasal voice. My name is Isarak Bellabranta. I am lord of this house, and I want to offer. I have an offer for you. Are you ready to take a job?
What kind of job?
My daughter has gone missing on her own accord. She joined a cult, a so-called air cult, and she was last seen at the Slumber Hills.
She's gone
And
missing of her
I
own
would-
accord. Then,
Meaning she
Well-
ran away.
yeah. Meaning she doesn't want to be here.
She ran away. And I would like you to try to convince her. Well, first of all, find her and then talk to her and convince her to come back. I don't want you to force her, but if you can convince her, that would be absolutely great.
Just wonderful.
What's in it for us?
Well, if you can tell me where she is, each of you will be rewarded 100 gold. And if you can actually bring her back, another 100.
All right. I'm in. I don't know about these lot. I only just met them.
Do we have a choice in the matter? Because looking at these gods, I don't feel like I do.
Well, you have a choice in front of me, but a friend of mine, Omathune, told me he may have you locked up if you stay too long in this city.
All right.
I've heard
Wow.
you're a bunch of troublemakers.
That's a little rude.
Well,
I
I
kind
just
of-
nod.
I smirk a little bit to myself when he says troublemakers.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Well, I just nod quietly and try to stay aware of my surroundings.
Yeah, I'm clearly uncomfortable with the whole thing just because cult immediately freaks me out just because of my past. So
All I
agreed
heard
to
was
it, but,
money, basically. I like the sound of this.
Money, yes.
I agree because I don't really see any other way out of it.
I have more frog questions because if the frog is standing, are you standing like in a like down?
Technical questions.
Yeah, like a frog is sitting like kneel down.
Needs to know.
Yeah,
No,
have to.
I thought that. No, as I said, I'm to my mind, I'm still pretty humanoid.
Pretty human. All right.
Yeah, so I'm just standing normally. I think it's more like I look more like a human with a frog skin, I would say, and with the web foot, web toes, and
all right.
fingers.
Okay.
And
Okay. Cool.
Color.
Well then, can I count on you? And he really like has to shout from about 40 meters or 30 meters away.
I kind of realize that he's shouting, and I mockingly shout back, "Sure, buddy."
And then his butler, he sits down. Isaac sits down, and his butler comes forward. Please follow me. I will lead you outside.
I
just follow him.
Yep, just follow him.
Yeah, I follow him,
And
but I make sure I keep my eyes locked on that guard as I go.
The same guard, right?
Yeah, as I walk past him, then I look away.
And as soon as you exit the banquet hall, you don't exit the same way you came, but you turn the other direction and basically shushed out to the side entrance where usually the deliveries are made and that kind of stuff, so that you don't exit through the main gate. And another familiar face there is waiting for you. It's Omar Thune. He's a very sturdy guy, like 180 tall around. He has a studded leather armor on and a broadsword by his side. Well then, how did the meeting go?
All right. I heard there's money in it
we
for
all
me.
just said yes.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in. I think we're all in. I heard there's money involved.
Yeah, sure. There's always money involved if you do a good job.
It's either leave the sick, get locked up by you, or leave with this bunch of weirdos. And I pick the weirdos. It will make for great stories.
Yeah, I can see that already.
And I glance over at Kjartner a bit
me.
with a bit of a grin as I say weirdos.
My wisdom isn't very high, so I look at you and I'm like, what?
I smirk a little bit because I can tell he's being a cheeky bastard.
Yeah, I think I'm laughing a bit.
Well, everyone is looking at the tiefling, and in the background there's this frog standing, starting to chuckle.
Yeah, I try to not draw that much intention, but well, when I'm laughing, it's all. But then I would like to ask him if he has more intel about the girl that we have to find. Maybe like any motives why she would have left the manor.
Well, he already starts walking a little towards the main street and waits for you to follow him.
Well,
As he starts talking, well, I know her name was Savra Bellabranta, and that she joined an air cult, which was rising in the Slumber Hills and recruiting people there. But I don't have any more information, else I would have returned her myself. That's all I can give you currently. You should start heading in the direction of the Slumber Hills, I think.
Which direction is that?
That would be to the north east.
So no further info on the cult itself? Can you tell me anything about them?
We have heard several troubling things from the Slumber Hills. That more and more of these cults sprang up, and the Slumber Hills themselves have gotten troubles recently. They were a supplier of stone for the fine manors here in the city, but shipments have been lost or were very much delayed. So it might have to do something with the cults, but I'm not sure. It's hard to say, really, if it's a major cult or something small just in the Slumber Hills. I hope we can get more information from you once you're done here.
Sounds like there may be some wet work involved, some killing. I'm okay with that.
And he looks at your axe and nods just at you while he makes sure his sword is still on his side.
So, what next?
Well, travel to the Slumber Hills. The next small village there would be Red Lark. It's about 2 days by foot on a good road. So there should be no problem for you reaching it. And you find yourself now standing on the northern gate of Waterdeep, since he has been basically leading you there while you were walking through the
I kind of look off into the distance thinking, oh, Neverwinter's up that way. Oh dear. I hope I'm not going that way.
In the meantime, what kind of city is Waterdeep? What do we see? Is it like full of people? How are the monuments, the buildings?
Well, you have been in the Sea Ward, which is the noble ward. So mostly you have seen big mansions and manors. There wasn't really very many people, and most that you have seen have long gowns, jewelry. So basically, it's rich people or those that have newfound wealth currently.
Okay.
So the real part, the city or you have been in the past days, were just a normal city, like it's directly on the sea, so there's a lot of fishermen and big markets in the middle of the city. But in here and the last hour you were here, you have only seen big manors and wealthy people, basically.
Okay.
So, shall we make a move then?
Yeah, I'm eager. Being in cities makes me uncomfortable, so I'm eager to get going.
I look around at the other two, and then kind of tilt my head inquisitively.
I just nod my head.
Yeah, same. I'm just following you.
Yep.
I grumble and just lift my glaive onto my shoulder and just start walking.
Follow the leader.
And you just hear from behind Omathune going, "Well, great. Goodbye."
I turn around and, like, walking backwards, I give him like a big wave, like, bye.
I turn around, look over my shoulder, and just just lock eyes with him, and then just turn around and keep walking.
And maybe he just motions one of the guards to shut the gate as you all turn around again on the road.
Yeah.